Hi you guys, it's Kimberly. I have you in kind of close today. It is the 10th of July. I had kind of an off day yesterday. I woke up with a migraine and I filmed the video showing you guys my lemonade and Pringles canister. I had a really tough time sleeping last night. I just had a really off day yesterday. I had a hard day. I had a couple of phone conversations that took me back to thinking about my mom pretty heavily, and so that made my day a bit challenging, and I don't know, just pretty confusing day and a hard day just dealing with my mom's death and, you know, family rejection, that type of stuff. So I'm up early because my son is bringing the girls home early. So I didn't get a lot of sleep, but I got up and I read your comments and they cheered me up. A lot of you really liked my canisters that I did, and so I decided I'm gonna do another one for you. But first I want to, so yesterday what I did is I really just spent time making artist trading cards, and I had a lot of fun doing that, playing with some of my new stamps, and you know, just kind of spending some time in my own head and doing some soul searching and asking God for some clarity and strength and spending some time with the Lord. So these are some of the cards that I make. Usually when I do ATCs, I'll make more than one of them. Like if I'm stamping like I did with these. Isn't this stamp beautiful? This was in one of the stamp sets that I got. So I made I made 4 of these. I don't know. They're all kind of mixed up here. Here they are. Somebody already asked me to trade one of them, but there's 4 of these. And I made 4 of these. And again, this is one of the stamps in that set. This is one of the $1.50 stamps, the To the Moon and Back that I got. So I just made 2 of these ones. And again, this is the same stamp as this one. So there's 2 of these. I just painted that bottom wing different colors. And then I did 2 of these. I did 3 of these, and the little girls' dresses are all different. I did just use colored pencils, and their dresses are all different colors. There's a close-up. The sun's really hot today, so I always go the wrong direction when I'm trying to hold things up close so you can read them. And then I made 3 of these. So yeah, I just spent time doing that yesterday, and I was on the phone with a couple of people. And I need to started on a project that I'm doing for with another YouTuber, and I need to do that today. Ooh, I'm going to shut this window because that sun is really hot coming in here. And I really wish I could talk to you guys about it. Maybe at some point I'll be able to. Because you guys' prayers really help me get through things too. But I have lurking family members that are more willing to gossip about me and listen to my videos and gossip about me, but they aren't willing to sit down and be a family and talk to me personally and work through some things. So I'm kind of limited at this point on what I feel I can say on here, but hopefully at some point I'll be able to. I'm still hoping for contact with some family members. I'm still hoping that things can be fixed. I think I'll always have that hope. I'm always welcome to having that. That's truly the only thing that I want. That's the one thing that I want before I leave this earth, is for my family to be healed. That's what my mom wanted. And that's what I want. But that's not in my hands. That's in their hands. So anyways, some of you said that you wanted to see me do another canister. And so I went through my pantry to find something else that I could alter, and I found this Quaker corn mill. It's not, I guess it would be considered a canister. It's more of a cardboard, but that's okay. I thought that the size was perfect because it's not so big that it's going to take up so much camera frame, and it's not so tall that it's going to take up so much camera frame, that I thought it would be easy to work with on the camera space that I have. So I thought what I would do is go ahead and paint some paper, because I don't know if I think I will do, one of you said, Joy Sykes, hi Joy, she said that she has chickens and that she was crazy about my birdie/chickens on the first tin that I did. So I thought that I would cut out some of those so that I could show her how I made those. And so Joy, just for you, I am going to alter this into my little chicken scenes, so to speak. So let me go ahead, and I am going to gather up my supplies and get my desk ready so that I can do that. I think that this drop paper is about done. I think that I can probably switch this out and put this aside so that I can, at a later date, I'm not going to do it with this one. This thing has glue on it. It has Mod Podge on it. This is a sticker label. It is good to go. It is perfect. So now what I'll do with this is we'll go around and add some more paint so that we could, like, it's got a piece of lace on it over here. We can go through, and I'll do this on camera when I do it. We can, you know, finish off the edges, maybe give it, you know, a few more touches, and then, yeah, I think this is ready to be cut up and done. It's really nice. I like the way that it held up. It held up really well, and I'm excited to cut this up and maybe use it for ATCs, or I don't know what I'll use it for. Maybe we'll make a journal cover out of it or something. I'm not quite sure what we'll do with it, but I'm going to get a new drop paper, and paint some paper. So let me gather that up and I'll be back. Okay, I really didn't gather anything up. All I did was get some sandpaper because I don't know that I want to paint paper. I might just pull out my scrap bin and use some scrap paper. That sounds funny, scrap paper. So I'm just gonna lightly sand this because as you can see, I can't peel this paper off because it's definitely stuck. Like this is all put together, and usually that's the way these paper canisters are. That's the way the Pringles can was. On the Country Time lemonade, the paper was loose and I could just peel it back to the cardboard. But this one I can't because it's all together. So I'm gonna lightly sand this to get the glossy off of it so that the paint will adhere. So see, this is just a 220 grit. So I don't think you need anything finer than a 200. So you want to wipe this off really well. I just wiped it off with my hand, but if it was any bigger than this, I would use like a paper towel. Since this is just cardboard through and through, I wouldn't saturate it with any, wipes or anything like that. So I'm gonna get my little handy dandy lid. So the colors that I'm using, this again is the blue turquoise from Americana. And I believe that Americana, yeah, it's a deco art paint. I like deco art paint. So I'm gonna put that there. So I'm going to basically do the same thing, except for I'm going to put grass color down here, green down here for grass, blue up here for the sky. So we're just going to basically do the top blue and the bottom part green. You can do whatever you're doing for yours. If you want to paint yours, pink with white polka dots. You do it however you want to do it. So my mom's townhome that she lived in, my brothers sold it. And so that kind of makes me sad. I guess I just wanted to hold on, and I know that that's just all materialistic things, but I guess that it's just harder for me to let go of those kinds of things. I guess it's harder for me to let go of those kinds of things than it was for them. And maybe it's just because I'm the girl, I'm a girl, and girls, it's harder for girls to let go of those types of sentimental. And it's not that it's, you know, because it's, how do I say it? It's not because it's anything, because I was written out of the will, so it's not because it's because of those times. What do I want to say? Monetary types of things. It's not that at all. It's because it was her home. Her things were in it. That's why I think it's harder for me to let go of those kinds of things. Like, I feel like that's what was left of her things. It's like, that's where she put her bed. That's where she had her clothes. You know, that's where she washed her dishes and she cooked her meals. And, you know, even when I went over to her house, like, when I left, I was like, this is the last time I'm gonna see, you know, where she laid her head. And it was like that was the last part of her, where she did her last, where she, you know, I remember when she bought the place, how excited she was, because when my stepfather died, that was such a low moment from her. And I remember the day that she died, I went over and spent the night with her, and that was such a tender moment for me, because me and my mom always struggled with her relationship, but she knew that I, you know, I tried. I always tried with her, even though we always struggled, and there were always other forces, you know, that tried to pull us apart. You know, my struggling relationship with my daughter and my older brother, you know, there were always those people that tried to pull us apart and tried to keep us apart. But I loved her dearly, and I know deep down she loved me, and I know that it was hard for her because there were so many people. You know, we couldn't have Christmas together because if I would have been there, then my daughter wouldn't have come to spend Christmas with her. So then that meant that her great grandchildren wouldn't. You know, she kind of had to pick. do is put some stamps. So I'm going to take this stamp, the one that has the swirly in it, this one here, and just kind of put it in the background. It's kind of hard to get it on there because it's long and my canister is round, but I'm just curving it and getting it on there as best that I can. That's what it looks like. Now if you don't want to stamp on yours and you just want to do the cutout paper, that's fine too. But since I've been doing the mixed media, I like it, so I want to add it to this. But you do what's pleasing to you. And I'm doing the stamps before because when I do the, I guess we're calling them birdie chickens. When I do the birdie chickens, they are going to cover up some of this. Well, this is probably not going to work so well. These stamps don't have much of any height on them, if you guys can see. See how there's not much height on these stamps? So you know what? I'm not going to use them. I'll just add some embellished flowers. If you want to paint your design on there, paint it on there. I like to do the appliques with paper. This is my big scrap bin. I know it's huge. I've got a lot of scraps in here. But let me pick out some paper to do my birds in. These are more of my jelly print scraps. I could use that. You know what? I've been saving this page out of one of my books. It was like a map in my book. Maybe I'll use that. I feel like I made this. Oh, how cute is that? January I made it. Okay, you guys, what do you think? What do you think? I think I'm going to use this for my chickens. And what if I really would like them to be pink? So I think what I'm going to do is put that down. This is just a glimmer mist that I made with metallic acrylic paint. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to get my wet paintbrush. Dry it off a bit. love the way book pages get all crinkly when you get them wet and then dry them with, you know, after you put paint on them and dry them. I don't know why. I love the noise. I love the feel of it. I don't know what it is about that. And I love the color on the book pages. I don't know what it is. It's just a weirdness. So I pulled this stuff out because I have a tree left from my other tin, and I thought it might be kind of cute to put one of my little trees on this tin. I'm looking for a pair of scissors, so excuse my arm. But I want my tree to be a little bit smaller, so I'm just going to make it smaller. Smaller, and we'll put him here. Feel better now that you took a bath?
Yes, and my tablet did it, so you're not gonna be. Wait, can one change?
Okay, so I'm gonna put this guy right here. Stand up tall. Tall and proud, little tree. You're tall and proud.
Not down. Proud is sad. Oh.
Okay. And he's kind of big, so let's give him a haircut. Give him a little haircut. That's better. We're going to put our little tree top here.
I got a little tree and an orange.
How cute that looks. We could probably do another tree somewhere, but let's work on our chickens. Or our birds, I don't know what they are, but
Chickens.
let's turn this over. It's important that you always put this back in your glue when you're not using it, because I found out the hard way. The little bit of glue that is stuck in that reservoir will dry up. It's hard to get that back in there. So I'm just going to turn my paper, so whatever paper you're using, just turn it over onto the opposite side. And the way I remember to draw these is it's like drawing a lens in a pair of glasses, right? So it's just like drawing a lens. So I want to not use. Now I want them to be, this is kind of cartoony anyways, so if they're not in complete proportion with the tree, that's okay. That doesn't bother me. I don't really care. But I want it to be somewhat in proportion. I don't want them to be so small that you can't see them. But just think of the lens of a pair of sunglasses or glasses, and you're just gonna draw it like that. Okay, I might want mine to be a little bit chunkier. Okay, so if you want them facing each other, then make sure that you're doing them directional. You don't want them to be going in the same direction. And they don't have to be the same sizes. You know, we're not all the same sizes. If you want some smaller ones, then draw some smaller ones. If you want some bigger ones, draw some bigger ones. If you want baby ones, make some big baby ones.
Can you do a baby one?
I think that one's a little bit chunkier. They're just kind of whimsy little guys. Okay, so just think of a lens on a pair of glasses, and it's kind of like Spider-Man eyes. Okay, maybe I'll do another littler guy over here. Maybe we'll even go smaller. Okay, and then just cut them out. That way, then I can put this one down here this way, and it can be like a baby and a mama, or a baby and a daddy, and it's looking up at each other. Okay, so if I want to do the little plumes on their head, but I want to do it in a different color, so like if I want to make them this color, these are going to be kind of difficult to cut out, but I can do it. You would just, you know, it's the same thing. Can you guys see me? You would just do like 3 little teardrop shapes like that, and depending on how many little birdie chickens you're going to do. Now obviously for those little guys, I could do it definitely. This is a cardstock, so it's going to be harder to cut these shapes out, but just cut a bunch of these out. I wish I had a punch that would cut out a teardrop. But you know, you could just draw out a bunch of these. Or you know, another thing that you could do that that just came to my mind. I've got some punches here. This might actually work better. Let's give it a try. This gave me the idea because I have this punched out here. If I punch out some hearts, let's give it a try. Whoops, that one went flying. If I do this, it might save me some time. See, and then I get a plume. Can you guys see that? No? Did you guys see what I just did at all? I don't even know where my other piece of heart went. Here, you know what? Let's do this. Yeah, that works. Okay. So I took this little heart punch. I'm going to cut out some hearts. take one of the hearts. I'm just going to cut out a teardrop. And take the other side and make another teardrop shape. So that's going to save me some time with cutting those out. That's a lot faster than cutting a bunch of those out, especially since this is cardstock. It would be a little bit harder for me to cut all of those little corners. Not impossible if you don't have one of those little heart punches. Believe me, I've cut out smaller things than this. But since this is a real-time video, and it's not just my time, it's your time too if you're watching this, and which I appreciate if you are, but this will save us both some time here. Okay. And then let's say for our birdie wings, we could use the same little design, but let's say we don't want to for the wings. We could do the same thing with these. We could give it little heart wings, looks like I did on my other canisters. I like giving them heart wings. I think they look cute when they have little heart wings. So let's put our first little bird chicks down. Birdie chicks. Birdie.
Birdie not chicks, because I'm not with chicks. I look like ball chicks.
Well, some birds have those big plumes on their head too. Okay, so we'll put our first one. So it's kind of looking down. And then we'll get a smaller one. Go in the opposite direction. Am I in view, guys? I'm really, really trying to be diligent with looking up at the camera to make sure that you guys see what I'm doing. And let's put this guy so that he's kind of looking up at his mama.
Mama, mama.
Okay, so then let's take our little heart wings. And whenever I'm using wings or hearts for wings, I like to think of it as if the heart is facing down like this, the bird is at rest. If the heart was facing up, then to me it looks like the bird is flying. That's probably just a personal preference. Let's put hers here, and then let's actually give her two since she's bigger. So it looks like her wing is a little bit more bulky. We'll give her two of them. I'm gonna spread it out so that that one hump on the heart is overlapping. All I'm doing is moving both of them. I thought I was moving there. Okay, and then
Baby sheeps are so cute.
we'll give them some little plumage.
Plume on them heads.
And you don't have to give them plume on their heads. I think they look good. I mean, you could just give them some back here on their tails. Give them 2, or you can give them 3. Maybe the baby only needs 1 because all his aren't in yet. If I was a bird, I would want 3. Apparently I have more glue on my fingers than I do on the paper. I like to get it under the paper a little bit if I can. Can't always because this craft bond, it sticks well. And this is a kind of a tedious project. This isn't something that you can just whip together really fast and be done with it. So you do have to have some patience with this because it is small. It is a bit of a small project, and it's tedious. So if gluing tiny pieces of paper is something that you don't think you can handle, you may want to draw this. I personally like gluing tiny pieces of paper. I like to see things like this come alive. I don't know, that just gives me joy. And I like making tiny things. I just always have. Maybe I'll give him 2 feathers on his bum. Okay, so there's our 2 little chicks. Aren't they cute? Oh, I love them.
That way you'll listen down.
I love them so much. What do I do with my lid?
Got babble in it.
I can babble. So then to finish them, I'm going to make their eyes for the mommy, I want her to look down. So how did I do their eyes? So I want her eye to be like that. And for the baby to look up, I want it to go up. Okay, and then for their little feetsies, I'm just going to draw on their little feet.
Yep, my little beaks.
And then for their little beaks, I'm just going to draw a little triangle, and then I'm going to take my yellow Sharpie. You can cut out little pieces of paper for their beaks too, but I'm just going to color them in because they're so teeny. Or you could paint them too.
Not a queen. Queen nose.
Let me see, this yellow is a little bit darker. Yeah, that's better. Mama's kind of bled. It's kind of dark, but that's okay. And then to make them look even brighter, I am going to they'll stand out a little better if you outline it. I don't really need to do the plumes since the paper's black. But when you're doing this, be careful. Keep your pen, am I in frame? Keep your pen straight up and down and rely more on the image than on the edge of the paper, or you're gonna mess up. Go slow. And by messing up, I mean you're gonna write on your applique. I do it all the time, so if you do it, don't feel silly. Go slow. Keep your pen more straight up and down. It does help. Rely more on your image than on the edge. Just take your time, go slow. Try to relax, don't grip the pen so see, I just went over. I do it all the time, so don't feel foolish. It's not ruined. It's probably not even visible to anybody but you. Like, I can try to hide it a little bit with a pink pen. I'm the only one that's gonna know it. Well, you're gonna know it now, but whoops, wrong end. This is a little bit easier because this is more like a cardstock paper. So I have a greater edge, less likely to go off of it. Still possible, I don't want to get overconfident. Okay, and then let's go around our tree. See, I just did it again. I was relying too much on my edge. You really have to rely on the image itself. Just take your time. See how cute they are. So if you don't want to watch the rest of the video, I'm going to finish it. But if you don't want to watch the rest of the video then, and you want to go give this a try, go, run, go, do it. But I'm going to finish this, so I can probably get, I think I'm going to make another tree. Do I want to make another tree? I don't know if I'm going to make another tree. No, I don't think I'm going to do another tree. I think I'm just going to put more chickens here. And, yeah, I might put a cloud. That's what I might do. I might put a cloud up here and some dangling hearts. And I'll put some pictures of the finished canister at the end. But that's how you do it, you guys. It's not hard, it's just time consuming. So let me pick out 2 more birds. Let's do a big one here. And then let's do another big one here. So these, or we could do, yeah, let's do two big birds here. I think that would be cute. Do I want to do them here or do I want to do them here? Let's do them here. Okay. those stamps back, please. Just gonna put some glue on these. Okay, you guys, I am done with this. One thing that I wanted to tell you guys is remember to always sign your work, because there may be a time when you look back on this, but you, oh, I just put the wrong date. No, it's the 10th. That's okay. It's just a day off. When you look back and you're like, oh, I can't remember when I did this, or when you're gone, because we all depart this earth, and people, you know, are admiring this, or your children keep it and they're like, yeah, you know, my mom made this, or my aunt made this, or my grandma made this, but we don't know when. So it's always important to sign your work so that, you know, you or the people that love you have a memory of when you created this, or that you created this. You know, so then there's no guessing as, I think my mom did that, or I think my grandma did that. So always sign your work, okay? And you don't have to make it visible on the piece, but somewhere on your work, sign it so that people know that it's yours. Oh, the only other thing that I needed to do on this is I need to connect my hearts to my clouds. Well, that's the same kind of marker that I just used. So I am just going to put some string. Or draw some string, I guess I should say. To attach my little dangly hearts there. Oh, and I needed to outline. That one marker just isn't, that fine line marker just isn't working for me. So I just got this cheap pen. It's just like from a company, but it seems to be working. I don't really want to set this down because the glue where I put my glitter isn't completely dry. So I wanted to outline my cloud a little. And it doesn't have to be real dark. I just wanted to give it a little bit of dimension. I just went off the... It's harder when you're doing it on something round. It's much easier when you're doing a flat item, but it gets a little bit trickier when you're doing something round. I'm just going to go around these little hearts. This isn't permanent ink, so I definitely don't want to touch this because it will smear in a second. It'll probably dry just fine, but it's probably going to take a bit for it to dry. I think that's all I needed to do to finish it off. Yep, I think we're done. So let me hold it up a little bit. So that's what we're looking like. So there's my little birds in love. There's my little mama and baby bird. There's my fluffy, glittery cloud. Oh, I made that little birdie. This one, he's down eating. So, what do you guys think? please go to my Facebook page and share with me if you guys create one of these. I would love to see what you guys create from any of my videos. I would just love to see how I've inspired you guys, and I could definitely learn from you guys. If you guys have some ideas and you would like me to try some of the things that you guys do, please share with me. I would love to see what you guys do. And so this is my lid. I might just cover this lid with some pepper. Shouldn't be too hard to get the right size paper to glue in that lid. Let me trace around it. That's the diameter of the outside of the lid. Let's see. This is the lid off of my Pringles can. I think that would be perfect. Let's see. Doesn't get more better of a fit than that. There, that's better. Okay guys, I will put some pictures at the end so you can get a little bit better view than what the camera is offering. But there you go. There you go. I hope you guys have a good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. God bless. If you could all say a little prayer for all those out there struggling with acceptance of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I think they need a little push the way that our world is today. We need to say a prayer for those people to accept Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. And say a prayer for all of our law enforcement and first responders out there. They could also need a little extra thought and prayer right now. God bless everybody. Bye-bye.